We have a difficult question before us. What does a pathless land mean to us? We are so attached to the paths. More the paths, more wonderful it is, more the merrier, as they say. A concept of a path itself gives to us certain psychological assurance to think I am on the right path. Others are not. I myself was not. Now I am on track. These are ways in which our mind deceives us. This proposition that truth is a pathless land is remarkably revolutionary, though I must quickly say it is not really unknown. In the ancient Vedanta works, it is said that the way insightful people move cannot be identified at all by anyone. Insightful, wise people move in such ways, and there is no standard rule about the way they move. Adi Shankaracharya, the exponent of Advaita Vedanta, quotes a Sanskrit verse which was known to people much before him also. That's how he quotes it. That in an ancient work it is said, the way the wise move is like how birds move in the sky. No footprints are left. It is like how fish move in water. No marks are left. So what is the path a bird took? No one knows. What is the path that the fish took in the water? In Sanskrit, one word for bird is Shakuni. Many of you know Shakuni as Shakuni Mama, the uncle of Pandavas and Kauravas. But in this shloka he quotes Shakunina Mivakashe Jale Vari Charasya Cha Padam Yathana Drishyeta Tata Jnanavatam Gatihi. Jnanavatam Gatihi. Gati means the way they walk, the way they move. As applicable to this evening's topic, the way their quest proceeds. Does their quest, does their inquiry go by some standard charted path? Do fish go as per some standard well-marked paths in water? Are there paths at all in water? For fish, are there paths marked by somebody else? So Shakuninam means Pakshinam. For birds, there is no path, but they have an insight. You and I know that these days, thanks to great amount of research done, birds go from one part of the world to another part, which might be 3,000, 4,000 or more miles away, guided by a certain insight. It seems the birds have very, very sophisticated way to know the temperature. They know where it would be warmer, where it would be colder. There is the story which is covered in documentaries in great detail because great research went into it. There is a category of butterflies called monarch butterflies. These monarch butterflies, during summer, they move from Mexico all the way towards Canada. And during winter, when Canada gets very, very cold, much before that sharp winter begins, they move 3 to 4,000 miles more or more towards Mexico. So certain scientists dedicated their life to understand their path. So that's a different story. They have a certain acute perception. In a way, it resembles the way insightful people work towards their own freedom. They don't go by some book, they don't go by something somebody had said, they don't go by second-hand information. They inquire, they ask some fundamental question. Who am I? Self-inquiry. And they move. They have no fixed direction. They change the direction going by moment to moment perception. In fact, there is also another Sanskrit expression which once more is quoted by the Advaita champion, and we don't know from where it came, just as we don't know where the earlier shloka had come. Both are quoted by Shankaracharya. And here it's not a whole shloka, it is an expression. Anadvagaha advasupara ishnavaha. In Sanskrit, adva means road. These are going by a terrain where there are no roads. Anadvagaha and advasupara ishnavaha. They want to cross over. They want to go beyond the misery of, we may say, egoistic life by apparently walking through certain paths which only they can see. Anadvagaha advasupara ishnava. So I must say here that in a way this pathless land has been hinted at by Shankara, Buddha, and many mystics, I suppose, in different wisdom traditions. But I must hasten to admit, in spite of such lofty statements, very, very profound insights of these great mystics, the religions that grew around them in no time became very much stuck in paths. The path of knowledge, the path of devotion, path of service, path of mind control. And more paths, the better, as though. Everything begins to get crystallized, while actually truth refuses to be crystallized. Therefore, having said these insights were in the ancient times, I must I must give certain credit which definitely Krishnaji deserves by saying that in recent times, Krishnaji's literature, whatever legacy he left behind, is extraordinary in throwing very precious light on this pathless journey. As all of us know, right in 1929, when he dissolved an international organization that was set up in his name, he was in some sense part of the Theosophical Society. He was, of course, why in some sense? The Theosophical Society promoted him. He lived in their campus in Adyar, Chennai. He became an international figure thanks to the patronage of Annie Besant, Leadbeater, and other well-placed people. And in addition to his being a spokesperson or kind of a eminent speaker from TS, as we call it, Theosophical Society, even today we say TS. In addition to being a well-known personality in the TS fold, Annie Besant, I guess, had formed another organization, Order of the Star of the East. Krishnaji was called the Star of the East, and that organization was called the Order of the Star of the East. And in 1929, even as Annie Besant was sitting just next to him in a certain camp in Omen, Switzerland, he stood and spoke. That's an immortal speech. And in that, he used this expression, truth is a pathless land. And he, to the astonishment of Annie Besant, whom he regarded as his own mother, she had legally adopted him and his brother also. And she regarded him as my dear Krishna, my son. Standing next to her, who was seated on a chair, there's a photograph, I'm sure most of you have seen that. He declares, I dissolve the order of the Star of the East. Everybody was really shaken. And he moved out of the Theosophical Society also. And a little story which is a bit humorous too, that he shared with the audience on that day is worth mentioning. The devil and a man were walking, having some friendly conversation. Suddenly the devil says, stop. So the man and the devil stop. The man asks the devil, what happened? The devil says, do you see in front at a distance from us? Do you see something sparkling? The man looks and says, yes, something is shining. What is it? The devil says, that is a piece of truth. And the devil shows much displeasure on his face. Because being a devil, he doesn't want anybody to get truth. The devils are very happy if you live in falsehood. The devil is very unhappy and concerned. Oh my God. I mean, he won't say, my God, this is my conditioning. The devil says, oh, I hope this man will not pick up that piece of truth. I don't want anybody to get truth in their hands. But contrary to his wish, that man who was much ahead of these two, there was a man who goes towards that sparkling thing and picks up, not the man walking with the devil, another man. He picks up the truth. And the devil is very disturbed. Oh, he took it in his hands. This is what I don't want. And within a minute, the devil relaxes, and apparently, you should read the words of Krishnaji himself. These are my words to some extent. The devil is very happy, relaxed, and smiling. So the man asked the devil, what happened just a while ago? You were very unhappy that the man over there picked up a piece of truth. Now you are happy and you are singing a song. What happened? The devil says, you know what? I read the mind of that man who picked up that sparkling piece of truth. And I read his mind and found out that he is going to organize that now. That is the end of truth. That's how, as all of you know, for rest of his life, Krishnaji consistently, with no change in his position. This was when he was 34 years old. And 5 days from now is the date on which 40 years ago he breathed his last, February 17, 1986. Krishnaji, from 1929 to 1986, all those years, without changing his position, maintained that no organization, no path, no system, no method, no technique can set you free. No one can lead you, and for heaven's sake, you don't lead anybody. Refuse to be led, refuse to lead. These are the statements for which Krishnaji is known. And his way, the way he went about throwing light on this deeper insight is truly extraordinary. Therefore, you and I are drawn to Krishnamurti. Other day on the lawns of Vasant Vihar, the headquarters of Krishnamurti Foundation India, a professor, formerly a professor in JNU, presently at some university in Florida, Professor Makarand Paranjape spoke. In fact, some were wondering how KFI invited somebody like Paranjape, because Paranjape is quite a bit known for somewhat right wing. It's a supporter of, rightist movement. Recently, he wrote a book on Hindutva, Hinduism, or something. He is somewhat considered leaning towards right wing, while that is not all that comforting to this inquiry. Don't be to the right, don't be to the left is the outlook. Examine, be objective. However, he did not make a single sentence, he did not utter a single sentence in favor of right wing or left wing. It was amazing to hear him go extempore, without preparation, it seemed. He went by his own happiness, his own pleasure, and spoke so beautifully on the relevance of Krishnamurti in modern times. I think it is on some website now. We must find out. We must all listen to it. I too want to listen to it once more. So, it is an extraordinary contribution to highlight what was said in those good old days, maybe, and most people do not know, because in the large amount of other things said in those so-called holy books, these statements here and there, Shakunina Mivakashe or Anadvagaha Advasupara Ishnavaha, get forgotten. But in Krishnaji's sharing, he never said he taught, he never claimed to lead, though Osho made some humorous remark, which is up to any of you to accept or reject. Osho said Krishnamurti was a great guru who did not accept that he was a guru. And those who attended his lectures year after year were, of course, followers, but they did not realize that they were followers. This is how Osho, in colloquial language, pulled the leg of J. Krishnamurti. You say you are not a guru, you are a great guru, sir. You are not admitting. Why don't you openly admit? That's the meaning of it. I said already, you need not accept, you need not, endorse Osho's opinion, and don't ask me my opinion. And as far as audiences who for decades sat and listened to him, he said, they are followers, they are shishyas, they are anuyayis. But since they are not so mature, they never realized that they were followers. That is his witty, you call it witty, you call it nasty, you call it irresponsible, you call it immature, or you call it, humor driven statement. Coming back, what do we understand by pathless land? Permit me to use an analogy which is more used in the Vedanta, but I guess it's not irrelevant. Suppose you are in Indore. I guess half of you are in Indore, half of us are everywhere else. We want to go from Indore to Bhopal. Both Indore and Bhopal are in the same frame of reference of space and time. Space and time for Indore and Bhopal are the same. But imagine, in your dream, you are finding yourself in a jungle. You have lost your path and you want to be free of that jungle. In the actual waking state, you are on a comfortable bed at your own home. But in the dream, you find yourself in a dangerous jungle. Very soon, tigers and lions and wolves all may appear over there. So, what is the path to go from the dream space and time, where there is a jungle, where there are wolves and lions? What is the path from dream to waking? Can we place a ladder in the dream world? How about placing a very, very, very tall, very, very high going ladder which leads you to waking state? The dream and waking state do not meet. Therefore, this is called, as that Western writer Ram Das, Ramdass, Ram Das wrote a book long ago. He's no more now. The book was titled The Journey of Awakening. It's not a journey from Indore to Bhopal. It's not a journey from Tokyo to San Francisco. It's a journey of awakening. And it seems in that awakening, this frame of reference of space and time recedes to certain background. Therefore, just as there cannot be a ladder from dream to waking, there is no path from the domain of the self. All of us use the word self with a lowercase s for ego. Elsewhere, the word ego is used. In Krishnamurti literature, the word self with a lowercase s is used. So the self perceives a certain domain of conflict, of cruelty, of attachment. The self finds itself caught in the web of various psychological problems. And we want to guide that self as though to truth, where there is no bondage, no regrets, no anxiety, only pure love. So, how can the self go from the sphere of attachment and aversion, the sphere of fear and regrets and so on, to the truth, which is free from all these hassles? Now, upon deeper inquiry, we realize that question is wrong. Because if the self were real, then the journey could be chalked out. The self itself is something we have to question. The self is of questionable credentials. In his talk, Professor Paranjape mentioned a well-known analogy. In a certain town, a thief came and stole precious items from some residents of the town. And they gave a police complaint. And very soon there was a police inspector going round the town in a motorbike, asking, "Did you see that thief?" Somebody from outside had come. Everybody said, "No, we didn't see." And in that example, the man who wore the dress of the police inspector and was going round the town in a motorbike himself was the thief a couple of hours before. Thief turned policeman. That's the example given. Professor Paranjpe mentioned it and threw some light in his sharing with how he deeply appreciated and appreciates Krishnaji's teachings. So, in order for us to go from this imagined world of failure and success, imagined world of disappointments and celebrations, to that awakened consciousness, whatever you call, where none of these is. Why are you talking about a path? The person who has to do the journey is false. Question him and demolish him. Demolish the one who is into the quest. You are so busy giving reality to the quest, and you are so busy identifying the right path for the quest to proceed. The entity that is on the quest, on the path, so-called path, itself is false. Therefore, it appears that all these high plateau seers, Krishnamurti also was called, right? The seer who walks alone. In those good old days, a documentary was made on Krishnaji. I came across a statement by Nisargadatta which says, your spiritual journey is just your ego in disguise. That also tallies with this. Your spiritual journey is just your ego in disguise. The thief in disguise goes around as the policeman. Better you catch him and slap him on the face. Stop searching for the thief. We know you are the thief. Like that, there is an intriguing dimension to this coming upon truth. Lastly, Krishnaji's insights into how the truth is a pathless land. There is really no quest except the quest for the quester, except the search for the searcher. That goes very well with Neti Neti of the Upanishads. Na iti, na iti. As you go deeper into the query, you negate. You dismiss the journey, you dismiss the very entity, man or woman, taking up the journey. There is no one journeying, no destination, there is only waking up. Therefore, the Buddhist nun Ayya Khema titled one of her books, No Being Nobody, Going Nowhere. Who will buy such a book? Being Nobody, Going Nowhere. But members of the Indore.JK circle will grab such a book. Otherwise, in the world, hardly anybody would buy a book titled in such a depressing way. Because all of us want to be somebody and go places. all of us take pleasure in saying, I just now came back from Japan, and next week I'm going to England. We want to go places, and we want to be somebody. That is the mad, mad world. Even the so-called swamis and lamas and mullahs and padris and cardinals and bishops and matadipatis, etc. They think going to some more countries is a feather on their cap. Number of disciples, preferably a few from Hollywood and a few from Bollywood also, is considered a feather on their cap. Finally I got a disciple who is a leading actor in Mumbai, Bollywood. Let me tell you, you should see the glow on their faces. Come down on all, don't come down only on Hindu Swamis. It is a widespread disease all over the world. So-called religious leaders have their own agenda, their own path. They want to rise, rise, and rise. Anyway, coming back, actually, it is a matter of dying to the self, where one lives vibrantly. To live vibrantly, one has to die to one's the little self made of memories, made of conditionings. And for this dying, there is no path. These are some of my sharing. Let me pause here. We are eager to hear Harshadji and other friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. Harshad sir.
Yes. Thank you, Swamiji. The last sentence was very beautiful, dying to the self. That is, how do we go from this ego to no ego? And what is the path? Now, this path is a metaphor. Land, truth is a pathless land, is a metaphor, and land is some, we think that it is something fixed, but is truth fixed? And uh, the path exists between 2 points, A and B, and that means going from one place to another place, there is a path, but no path, it means both points, both places are at the same place. That means the truth is not somewhere away from you. You have to go to the Himalayas or go to the gurus, and it is somewhere Krishnamurti retreat center. There is the truth. It's not like that. It is within us. And how do we go about understanding our own mind? And what is there a path which is inside us, not going outside, but inside, going from this thinking to a state of no thinking or awareness or silence?
Harshad sir, your voice is not
Voice
coming.
is not coming. It's gone.
Katyayani ji. Harshad sir.
Yes, I'm sorry the internet light has gone out. And so the internet also Wi-Fi had gone out, but now it has come back. So truth is where you are. The thing the thing which you are searching for, what we call truth or happiness or freedom, it is not somewhere outside. Only when we begin to see our own self, our own thoughts from a dimension different than thinking, then there is something new happens. That is the awakening of awareness or intelligence. It comes maybe through this kind of intense inquiry. So, this inquiry of who am I, you can call that is a kind of a path. And when we ask, who am I? How do we ask? What is the state of our mind which is asking? Is it an intellectual question or it is a very a genuine question? And when the question, who am I, is very genuine, there is no answer, but the mind really stops. And in that stopping of the mind, there may be some insight, and that insight may be for a short duration, and again we get caught into the thinking and ego and all the problems which self is creating. So one has to work on oneself again and again, and it may take time, the chronological time it may take. And then when this insight is stable, then one doesn't need to do anything. There is no effort required to see everything, what is happening within you very, very clearly. And then that seeing is the action which insight which resolves all our problem. So there is a path which is within us, and that path, it means the path of inquiry, looking inward, and it means one has to experiment sitting quietly initially and turning the attention inward and watching very, very clearly how our mind is working. And that is what I did after reading a book of Krishnamurti, when Krishnamurti said that this thinker or me is a product of thought, and all our problems of psychological nature are coming from thinking. So one has to go right at the source from where this thinking is arising, and it requires a freedom, energy, attention, honesty to look with all energy to look at the beginning of a thought. And when I try to do that, there was a kind of a different state. There was no thinking, no feeling, a pure awareness. And that is what I think we are looking for, a kind of a awareness which is motiveless, effortless, ongoing. And in that, then there is nothing to be done, only to just look. And so, in a way, we can say organization don't help. It is a individual journey, but sometimes people like Krishnamurti or Buddha or some other teacher, we listen to them with all our attention, then something may click. Not that we think on what they are talking, but something happens spontaneously. Or we may be reading a book of Krishnamurti and suddenly there is a new state happens. And so this possibility exist, we don't need to go to a guru or a psychologist or a priest, astrologer to solve our problems. The problems are created by observing of the thoughts and feelings. And so we get caught into the whirlpool of thinking and feeling. And as long as we are in that state of thinking and feeling, there is no solution in that. So how to come out from the state of thinking and feeling to awareness or insight, which can look at thoughts and feelings clearly. And so the journey is within us, the truth is within us, the thing which you are searching is within you. And I would say, in a metaphoric way, that the treasure is buried within us, but around that treasure, there are the snakes of jealousy, fear, anger, loneliness. And so when we look inside, we see the snake and we get frightened of these problems. And so we try to escape from our own self and we read Krishnamurti book or Osho or somebody or go to some place and attend some seminar. So all these escapes, it I don't know whether it can help. If it helps, it's good. But I did not go anywhere. For me, it was just a book of Krishnamurti and myself, and reading a little bit of Krishnamurti and closing the book, forgetting the book of Krishnamurti, what he was saying, and looking with intensity in inner world. And that really, it began to help me very much. And the journey is within us. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Harshad sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Harshad sir.
Thank you.
Katyayani ji.
Pranam Swamiji, and greetings to all the elite speakers. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to reflect briefly on my understanding of the profound statement of JK. The truth is a pathless land. This is a simple understanding, probably not as complex as it had been given with much more in-depth understanding by others. So I think what he meant by is that the truth cannot be approached through any organized religion or doctrine or culture or any system or guru. So a path here implies a method, a repetition, or a gradual progress and authority. But for Krishnamurti, for JK, truth is not something we reach by following steps. It's discovered only through perception, through direct perception. So he emphasized two central ideas, which we have discussed many a time, but just it may be a repetition, is talked about choiceless awareness and inner freedom. Choiceless awareness is where you see things, you perceive things as they are, without any judgment, without any preconceived notions, without any filters, just seeing and being observant of observer and observed dissolving. So at that state, there is a certain inner clarity, and that itself is truth. And the other thing he talked about is inner freedom. Inner freedom is not depending on any, when he says inner freedom, it's psychological freedom, not the technical freedom, because not the freedom in the opposite sense, I should say. This psychological freedom leads to dependency. And once you depend on, once there is dependence on authority, we tend to surrender to, again, religion, or be it or a certain dogma or a doctrine, or a spiritual leader. So we depend, the dependence on authority would not help us to perceive the truth. So again, the inner freedom is the one that is something that would lead us to the authentic truth. So the beauty is when you combine this choiceless awareness with inner freedom, something transformative happens, something that transforms. And you started seeing things as they are, and you perceive life and the truth, the clarity that you have been looking for. Just even to compare this pathless truth concept even with other schools of thought. If we take Zen Buddhism, they talk about experience, which is similar to what JK was talking, but it differs from its structure and lineage. Even Advaita philosophy that talks about duality, again, insists on the authority of scriptures. If we go back to even existentialism, which talks about authenticity, still it doesn't go to the extent of dissolving authority as per the understanding of JK. So what
I see myself.
it's so what it is being able to go beyond this and be able to see the truth. Where I am more fascinated is this concept of being able to see the truth using this choiceless awareness. It sounds abstract. Actually, the whole concept, it sounds radical, because human mind seeks for security, and the system gives us comfort. We need gurus, we need system, and authority gives us reassurance. There are so many positives, but he's asking us to go beyond all this to perceive the truth. And it sounds a bit radical, but it has its own value. It even sounds dangerous in a way, because it's taking away the crutch that we lean on, because we need gurus, we need authority, we need a system, we need certain methodology to be able to function in an organized way. Anyway, he is against organization, any kind of organized thinking. But what it is that fascinated me is, if we really understand that this abstract concept and be in that state of choiceless awareness and perceive the truth, it leads to clarity. That clarity resolves a lot of day-to-day issues. For example, if somebody criticizes me, and what would be my immediate reaction? I get hurt, I want to defend myself, or I get impulsive and I want to retort and just teach a lesson, or just the reaction is so immediate. But if only we use that part of choiceless awareness that JK is talking about, being able to see the whole situation in a very non-judgmental way, not looking at anything else other than what you see, just seeing alone for its sake. When you see that, lot of that anger dissolves, dependency for approval or to justify or to rationalize dissolves, and hurt disappears, and you don't really be the person that you thought, that you like to that you want to see, that you wish you would like to see, but you are totally in a different frame of mind. So what I would like to um, mm, reinforce as my understanding is this kind of perception of truth in its right sense truly brings deeper understanding and uh, resolves so many day-to-day issues and dissolves conflict, brings some clarity and calmness if only we see it the way we are asked to see it. So there's perhaps I won't um, perhaps the pathless land is not somewhere we arrive at. It actually begins the moment we stop following. That, having said that, as my deeper understanding of this topic, I take leave. Thank you.
Thank you, Katyayani.
Thank you.
Dinesh Ji.
First of all, thank you, Swamiji, and thank you, Harshad Ji, Katyayani. I really do not know from where to start, but let me try. First of all, truth is a pathless land. Truth is, there is no question of land, from where it comes. Pathless. Have we gone through the paths or deeply studied the paths? What is the meaning of path? I'm sorry, we have become followers of Krishnamurti and we are just repeating his words. Nobody has tried to go what is the meaning of path. Basically, somebody is new to this subject or he is trying to, a new student or a novice, for him, there has to be some starting and there has to have some guidance and then he can choose. So similarly today happening in the world also. We are having education common at some level and then let the student choose what is that. Number two, if we go through the Shastra, say Narad Bhakti Sutra. Narad Bhakti Sutra says, Naradji says, this is not I am saying, but these saints are also, this saint has to say this, another saint has to say this, and this saint has to say this. And then they compile and then that becomes Shastra. This is very clear. You go Athato Dharma Jigyasa, start from one side and then they cover most of the things. You go to Athato this Brahma Jigyasa, that is also compilation of many views and districts. So we have to understand truth is not in the, I am using harsh words, since Swamiji has used hard words of JK. It is not in the, truth is not in the pocket of JK or anybody else. Arvind has also made it very clear. Nobody can touch the truth. When the truth is available, it is always personalized. Always personalized. Yes, basic energy and distinct silence and something he may get. But otherwise, the truth appears in front of him in a personalized way, which he called Atimanas. And he also tries to synthesize in yoga, synthesis of yoga. Many are different marks and said clearly that one has to see what applies to him. So to start of the student, one has to see what is his liking, what is his good in doing, and then he has to be given the guidance like that way. That's what the path is. There is a famous Golwani Maharaj in Pune. One doctor came to him and asked many questions. He was a Shakti Patacharya. So he simply laughed and he said, I am not your guru. You go to Kashi and you will get there your guru. He said, I cannot understand when you are famous, so many. Well, whatever I am saying, you do it, and then you will understand. So after so many years, when he became something or understood something, then he came and met Golwadi Maharaj. Now I understand what you say. Another thing, truth nobody can touch. Truth word is not the original word. Original word is Ruth. That comes from the Rigved. Rigved is made from the Ruth word. And in that, there is a Nazdi Sukta, which clearly says that we do not know what was earlier to this creation. There was a darkness, or there was a light, or whatever it is, which scientists today says that there is a dark matter and we do not know what is there. So we do not know what was where the creation has started. But yes, after the creation has started, manifestation has started, whatever we have experienced, so many persons who are after that divinity, they are having their own experiences, which they called Shruti and Smruti. So that's what, on the basis of that, they have written so many this mantras and all that, and that has been covered in the Shastra. And let me tell you one thing clearly. One should also go through this. At that time, we are having a very systematic approach of computer and all that, and a way of teaching the people. At that time, these all things were not there. So people were not do not know what is available at what place. So only verbally, or you can say by remembrance only, they have got many things. So for that they said there is one Shruti and there is one Smruti. Purans are all based on Smruti. And Shruti is the direct hearing of them. Right? And one is Drushti. Drushti means which we call vision and all that inside, all that. So for that they said that this Rishi was the Drushta of this mantra or this thing. And mantra was nothing, that words were just simple, but behind that there is an energy, and which was empowered by that divinity at that time. So one has to understand all these things. Number two, there was a picture, oh my God. In that, the Mithun Chakravarti clearly says, you know, these people are not God-loving people. These are all God-fearing people. So most of the people do not want any so-called truth which you are talking, we and I are talking. That is not their requirement. Their requirement is better life. So most of the people, they go for the gurus and all that for the better life. And let me tell you one thing. In bhakti also, they have clearly said there is a Gauni bhakti, means to start with, and there is a Anvi bhakti. In Anvi bhakti, when you go, then there is a energy behind the image. They talk about that energy behind the image. For initially, they have only symbolically said that Vishnu was having so much chakra and this, means he was maintaining the order and this thing. So that a common person, layman, can understand that he is not a man, simple man. He is having such things which has to be seen, or which has to be focused at later date. So these things you have to see. Similarly, with the time, these all things have changed. And let me come to JK now. JK said pathless land. Nobody has gone into deep in that. He wants to awaken the people. One of the researcher of the Maharashtrian Sant has clearly said, first there was a Sant said, then when you try to organize him, then you become a sanstha like KFI. And when there was a confusion, there was so many people with different intention, so many motives comes into it, then it becomes Sansthan. So I don't say that the KFI has become Sansthan right now, but it is a Sansthan. So if you meet 10 people, 10 people will tell you that JK was saying this, JK was saying that, and all other people in the world were fools, including Mahesh Yogi and all that. I am sorry, sir. We have to go into deep and see the intentions of a person, and at the same time, what are his deeds, what he was doing. He has at various places he said, it is not my job, it is not. Why he is saying so? Anybody has questioned him? He said, you question me. Has anybody questioned him? So these are the things. We just want to do this dissection of the JK's words, but we do not go behind the words and to understand the person. I'm sorry. Another thing, we say neti neti. Neti neti is a state which is also mentioned in Ved and Vedanta and your Upanishad and all that. But Vedanta, there is a Vairagya. The word comes Vairagya. Vairagya is what? When you are not interested in anything, you are free from it. Similarly, when people understand at that level that we cannot touch this truth. Whatever truth we can keep our windows open, whatever truth appears in front of it, okay, it is my truth. But the real thing is dharma, artha, kam and moksha means freedom, degree of freedom, or you can say energy of freedom. So one has to focus on that. When people say, what is truth, what is truth, only JK knows the truth and not others. This is really surprising to me how people can eliminate others. In the process, they got eliminated. Very few people got attracted towards JK. There was a person came to Raman Maharshi. He was good disciple of his. Raman Maharshi, there was a time that Raman Maharshi was living. So he asked Raman Maharshi. Raman Maharshi said that whatever you want to understand, do it fast. So he started weeping. I am coming to you for so many years, but I could not understand, can get the answer of who am I and all that and this thing. Raman Maharshi clearly said to him, forget who am I and all that. Who is taking breath in your body? You are taking? He said, no. But focus on that breath. Whosoever is taking the breath, that is that divinity. So we have to see. There is this Buddhism and Jain Buddhism, there was a reference. They have also given the similar things for the basics. Buddha has given the eightfold mark. Nobody talks of that. Buddha said this, Buddha said that. What about eightfold paths? What about Vipassana? What about Tantrism? Buddha Tantrism, Tantra Gyan. Sorry, I'm mistaken somewhere, but Tantrism. Matlab means they have clubbed Buddha and Tantra. Another thing, in Mahavir and this thing, they have also gone, they have to have gone for the idols. They say Namokar Mantra is this thing. What is the meaning of Namokar Mantra? Nobody goes deep, and why they are their intention is to create this Namokar Mantra. They clearly they are gone for idols. But there is no, they say we don't have any Murti Puja. But what you are doing actually? So there is a thing, there are the stages. One has to understand this, that there is a stage. This is a fact of life. Simply saying that this is not to be done, that is not to be done. Krishnamurti says most of the Krishnamurti statements are conditional. In my view, he said you have to remain with the fear. There is a condition. You have to write down the words. This is a condition, isn't it? You have to have self knowing. This is the condition, isn't it? So we have to go into deep, sir. If at all we want to go in this life towards the divinity, if we want facilities in our life and we want to make our life good, then there are different. Then there is a different thing. Thank you. Sorry if I am hurt anybody's feeling.
Prasad sir.
Namaste, sir. Namaste to everybody. This topic is not very complicated to my mind. Most of the things have been said not only by Swamiji and Harshad Ji, but by somebody who has not been very closely associated with Krishna Ji during his life, I think. Not that I know anything about it, but I am mostly in agreement with what Katyayani madam, Katyayani Suryadevara madam has said. She has explained simply that truth is a pathless land. Normally we think there are so many paths. Islam is a path. Christianity is a path. Hinduism is a path. So many paths. We can spend our lifetime following all those paths. What the statement means is simply that you come out of tradition. There's a book by Krishnaji, which I am going through just now. The Prison of Tradition. Tradition is a prison. At the same time, he has also made a statement that in India we have forgotten tradition. The tradition of a spiritual quest, which was there, that we have forgotten. And now we are lost in materialism. We want better cars and all those things which Western civilization stands for. So that is the problem. The problem is that we are lost in pursuit of material things. Our education is only that. It prepares us for a job like an engineer or a doctor and all that. And it doesn't give us any freedom of the mind. So we think there is a statement, all roads lead to Rome. All roads lead to Rome. But Rome, when we signify truth by Rome, there is a destination. Truth has no destination. It is constantly moving, constantly changing, constantly shifting. And there is no way. And that is where, as Madam has said, Katyayani Madam has said, choiceless awareness. The only thing you can have is constant, that choiceless awareness. Some people say Krishnaji is also a guru because, like Osho has said, you are a guru yourself. You see, that is simply, to my mind, it makes no sense. Krishnaji is saying, I am not a guru, don't follow me, follow yourself. Read your own book. You are the book. That is what he said. And if you confuse a statement like that into making it as a statement of a guru, there is no end to it. So, when Krishnaji talks of tradition, so much, our mind is full of tradition. Like so many things. All your gods are illusions. So many gods, all are illusions. We live in illusions and we are happy living in illusions and in scholarship. We keep on repeating. And he has said also, that may be truth. What Shankara said may be true. But what does it mean to you? It makes no sense to you. You are only repeating what somebody said, and to that extent, you are simply a second-hand human being. We have to understand his statement like we are just second-hand human beings. Everything is a tradition. Our marriage expenses are a tradition. You're wearing a man wearing a dhoti and woman wearing a sari, to my mind, is a tradition. We are lost in human mind itself is tradition. Tradition has a value in certain places, but mostly if you are in a spiritual quest, if you are lost in tradition, there is no meaning. You are just following somebody, and you are being a second-hand human being, and you will never touch the fringes of truth. You cannot touch truth by that. That is what he said and what I am believing. You may call me a second-hand human being because I am appreciating what Krishnaji said. So, tradition is a prison, that is what he said, and so many traditions. Our talking itself is, the Swamiji has said, how birds fly in water, how birds fly in the sky, and how fish go in the water. That is how our perception, our observation should also be like that. That is leaving no residue. You observe what is happening daily, and that gives you a lot of freedom. Then you start observing nature. Then you enjoy nature. Otherwise, you are not enjoying nature, you are only worshipping nature. Worshipping nature with the idea of a gain. You go and attach medals to trees with the idea that you will get children or wealth or something like that. That is how your mind, Krishnaji's contribution to my mind is he has removed a lot of rubbish from our lives. Otherwise, we are lost in rubbish, and he has removed all that. And that is a great contribution. And that's all. Thank you, sir.
Pradeepji.
Yes. Good evening, friends. A very interesting topic today.
Swamiji, do you want to say or something?
Maybe a word, yeah. Or after Pradeep.
Okay.
After Pradeep. Yeah, please, Pradeep, please go on.
Okay. Thank you, Mamaji. It's a very interesting topic. Truth is a pathless land. And it remains that with me. I don't know. The main question is, how do we view this truth? How do we or I view truth? Because the main inquiry is about truth. So, in what relationship it has with the time? Because usually we say moment to moment awareness. There also some indication of time is there. Moment. What is a moment?
maybe explanations are there for that. That moment is not time anyway. So Dinesh ji talked about a lot about this various paths he has studied, and most of the speakers, they talked about Advait and Advait Vedant because some similarity is there. And Harshad ji talked about that truth is within you. So this itself, if you understand that, if you understand deeply this thing, if you have really gone deeply into this statement that truth is within you, it's something like, Kabir said, "Moko kahan dhoonde re bande, main to tere paas mein, खोजी हो तो तुरंत मिल जाऊं पल भर की तलाश में." So beautifully, you see, Kabir has said this centuries back. So timeless. So this is that way timeless truth or awakening, you can say, how we perceive, because it's neither objective nor fully subjective, because the subjective, when we say that that lower scale of S, we say conditioned, we are conditioned, so we are all as subjective. It is not objective. Some subjective says that it is not objective, it cannot be objective. So ultimately these things, I still don't know anything about it, but these questions came to me very often, and still I am happy that my curiosity is maintained, my attention is maintained, my, you see, at least because seeing and listening happens almost, you can immediately, you can see what, even present, if the word present is used, that Eckhart Tolle talked about presence and all that. Even present is, it will lead to discussion. So this is how I view truth. For me, it is ever changing. For that, you need terrific attention, beautiful attention, emptiness to get every signal, seeing and listening. That is what gives me satisfaction. And I have no path, no images. Fortunate I am that way. I have never conformed to anyone, anything, because that becomes faster than anything else. Thank you very much. Friends, you have given me this time. Now, Swamiji, few words from Swamiji.
Well, delightfully. I thoroughly enjoyed the sharing by everybody. I thought this would be a very abstract topic and many would not have much to say. On the contrary, I found everybody is excited about this topic and is coming forth with many inputs. And even Katyayani from Hyderabad was in good mood and shared very precious points from her side. She has spoken once or twice before, but generally she is quiet. She has been attending these for maybe 2 years or more. Now, coming to saying something, right away, Harshadji began saying, there cannot be a path because where you are and where you want to reach, in a sense, are one place only. If you are in Indore and you say, I want to go to Indore, how can there be a path from Indore to Indore? That's my masala now, my example. Likewise, Dinesh ji made an attempt to bring certain traditional outlooks into the topic. And Prasad Garu very nicely said how certain flaws come into an age-old tradition. On one hand, we say we are a land of rich traditions, but it is so true that so superficial our tradition is in this country. Majority are into utter materialism. Maybe even if they go to a temple, it is to beg for, some material rewards. So, unfortunately, those who take themselves to be spiritual are very often not spiritual. Those who are brushed aside by the society as not having any higher vision or higher way of living, many times are better than those who are wearing some special clothes and showing off in some way. So, friends, I don't want to say more. I too have another session at 7:30 of some sort, but I wish to really sincerely appreciate the sharing of all, and above all, when we hear each other, if we are able to pay attention to the other person, even if that person doesn't impress us, even if that person seems to be not talking in relevantly, this group discussion or this dialogue is an opportunity for us to um, uh, listen attentively, not hastily conclude, hey, this lady is not talking well, that man is not talking well, because there also our likes and dislikes come up. So without any likes and dislikes, at least for a while, we must patiently listen to everybody who speaks in this dialogue, and that listening itself can be of great value to us, for we are then closer to that awareness. Whereas if we just go into some conclusion, then we have actually succumbed, we have yielded to some old likes and dislikes. So thank you. This is all I wish to say. Thank you again. We may give a chance to one or two people probably, provided they are brief.
Rajendran sir.
Thank you, Kamlesh. Thank you, Swamiji. Always, as always, is clear and crisp. Actually, my question is to our beloved Harshad Parekh sir. Truth is a pathless land, and he has given a very clarity for me. That is, there is no journey, there is no A or B. So he has given in a new perspective for me. Thank you, Parekh sir. At the same
Thank
time,
you.
he also mentioned it takes some, the journey takes some chronological time. Time is a illusion. Whether it's a psychological time or chronological time is also a illusion. There is no, it is based on sunrise and sunset. That is also illusion. Nothing is rising, nothing is setting. Sun is not rising or setting. Chronological time is also a measurement. Measurement of distance traveled from A to B. Then when there is no journey, how there can be a measurement? How there can be a even chronological time? Why it is not taking spontaneously, instantaneously? I agree with him. It takes some time. That is chronological time. I agree with him. At the same time, I have a question. Even that chronological time is also a measurement of traveling from A to B. When there is no traveling is involved, why it takes time? Why it is not spontaneous or instantaneous to see the truth? Is it because we lack that much of energy or attention? This question to our beloved Pariksha. Thank you, Kamlesh, for the time.
Harshad sir.
Yeah. Yeah, this time, chronological time, we live in chronological time and we also live in psychological time. Both are real for us. Our life is involved in, and we will have to stop this program because there is a chronological time limit. So my view is that we can get trapped into Krishnamurti's terminology, and that can also become like a tradition. And Krishnamurti himself said in this new book, Prison of Tradition, that his words also people will repeat and it will become like a tradition. So there is a danger in repeating Krishnamurti's ideas, but we have to speak from our own insight. Then we are not second-hand human being. And my view is that you can read Krishnamurti, you can read Vedanta, Buddhist literature, but you have to forget everything and be silent, turn the attention inward and see what is, how these thoughts are moving, and uh, without any judgment, the choiceless awareness, that is what it will take us from the self, means ego, to no self, means silence. And that is what the real journey is within us. From, as in the Vedas, or they say, lead me from darkness to light, from death to immortality, like that. So the journey is within us. And for that, we need to be very, very attentive, very passionate about it, that this is the most important thing in our life. Then it is possible. And some human beings have been able to come out from the problems created by thinking, and that possibility exists. It depends on us how passionately we are interested in this inward journey. Okay, thank you.
Time has come.
Kamlesh? Yeah,
Yes,
time is, yes.
Time has come to 7:30, so there will be limit to us.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
So thank you for giving this opportunity, sir.
Gautam sir,
I
if you
think,
want to say
yeah,
something, you can
yes, sir, yes, sir.
take 1 minute.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. That's what, sir, as all the speakers have told about the truth. What I feel is the truth itself will reveal itself. So the truth of today may not be the truth of tomorrow. I think truth, there is something called constant and variable. So, as what all the speakers have told, and what I believe is for finding the truth or to know the truth, I think it's one's individual, it's our own effort which we try. Then I think we can try to make an effort for finding it, but that's what it is with a different dimension. The truth for me might not be the truth for others. The very word truth, what is truth? The very word truth, that word, in context to the etymology, there are different meaning. We call it as aletheia, we call it doxa, we call it satya, we call it, there are some Greek roots for it, Latin roots for it. So like that, there are so many word meaning is there, but what literally that word truth is not truth. Truth, truth is not truth. What literally the path, path is not path. So it's all again fabricated, it's all again preconditioned. The words and the etymology of it, we have framed it, we have organized it. So the very word path, when we tell, it is that we have organized it, we have set it. In the same way, the very word truth is what we have, framed it, we have formed it. We see in one angle and we tell that is truth. The person finds the six. There is a kind of paradigm or this paradox. The person, what he feels is as a 6. The other person standing on the other side may feel it as a 9. So we can't judge it. So there is nothing to, you cannot define it. It is highly, I think it is not possible till from the evolution. I think from many millennia, The human being, like a sponge, is trying to absorb the things. He wanted to know it, wanted to find it out. Like by observing so many things, he thinks that is the truth. He has reached the truth. But no religion, no tradition, no science. I think nothing has. I think they made a tremendous effort, but I think still I feel that there is nothing called truth, and we can't go to that, or it is not. It is already there. It is already existing, but I think it will reveal itself in that particular minute or to that momentum. I think it discloses itself. That's what. So if we have a choiceless awareness, to be so attentive, extremely attentive, without any conditioning, without any notion or thought, I think when the mind is so clear, so attentive, I think then only I think we can see that it is or as it is of what the state is, sir. That's what I feel, sir. Thank you.
Dineshji.
Last line, I would like to say only one line. Basically, truth is all encompassing and all pervasive. It covers both untruth and truth and beyond. And if you listen carefully to each individual without any bias, without any this thing, with a free mind, you will see individually he has got his separate truth attended, and it varies from time to time. So in duality, truth is varying, always varying, and beyond you can't reach, or beyond you cannot touch. So whatever you will get, whenever you will get, the truth will be individual only. Krishnamurti's truth is individual. Ashtavakra truth is individual. Tradition, there are so many saints, truth is individual. Okay, thank you.
Thanks all for the participation. And this is a very individual and also very complex issue of truth. Because being individual, everybody's views and experience is very different. It may appear that a very polar opposites, but all are enclosed in the same space. That is very mystic. So we will have to end the meeting here as time has gone on.
Just a moment. My dear friend Kamlesh Modak always says, a man grows to his level of incompetence. And that I always admire him for this statement. Thank you.
Okay. Time has come, so thanks everybody.